It is smoking.
It's smoking already?
It's smoking.
Check that out. That's it. It doesn't want to do anything anymore. Just bring the fire extinguisher, yeah. All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Airsoft Meltdown series. Today being hosted at the Evike Outpost here at High Ground Airsoft in Cypress, Texas. And today I've got a pretty hot piece from Novritsch. I'd say hot because people are making videos over these as quickly as they can. People are talking about them everywhere. But I wouldn't say hot as in something I want myself. Because actually, I really don't like this thing. I generally liked, or at least saw the potential in most Novritsch replicas that I've handled. My favorite is still the SSG10, and my least favorite would be this, the SSR9. Now I know I talk a little too much sometimes when it comes to these intros, so if you just want to skip straight to the meltdown, then go ahead and use this timestamp. But I feel like I really need to talk about this, or at least give a brief overview / review. So starting off, I really had some strange hop-up issues with this thing. A lot of random flyers, some ridiculous accuracy at 50 and even 100 feet with this little 9mm. Okay, we've seen these all the time. G&G did this, Classic Army did this. Honestly, I'm kind of bored of these. We've seen them all over the place, and I've seen them kind of modded out in any form you could imagine. So again, I'm just bored of these. Kind of like the High Kappa. I understand what they can do, and I respect what they can do, but I'm just bored of them. That's just a personal thing though. But anyway, at 50 and 100 feet, we planted this thing to a table to cut down on human error, and we got test results like this. I've put about 200 or 300 BBs through my example, and I just didn't feel any confidence with it. Not with 0.28 grams or 0.32 grams or even with 0.4 gram BBs. I've seen some comments about people saying that you need to break in the maple leaf hop-up that's inside this thing, but I've talked to some long-term techs and they say that's utter nonsense. And even if that was true, we don't really accept terrible accuracy from anything that we normally buy in Airsoft, so why should this be exempt from that? Novritsch replicas are known for a lot of things, but one big one is accuracy at long range. And I'm not getting this with the SSR9. 417 feet per second with 0.2 gram BBs was a little crazy to see as well, and you don't get any sights or the amplifier that was displayed so much when this was being shown off. But that could be due to US regulations. Another thing is the screech this thing belts out is really annoying. I'm not sure if that's a motor situation or a gear situation, maybe it just needs to be shimmed, but this is also something that Storm mentioned in his video. Go watch Storm's Airsoft's video over this, or even check out Negative Airsoft's video. He completely takes it apart, which we will later on after something finally breaks on this. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. I do like the lightweight build because it really is super light with its polymer body, and the programmable ECU is very nice to see. We'll be using that ECU to shoot in binary and full auto throughout this meltdown, but without further ado, I'd like to first thank Iraq Veteran 8888 for the inspiration to make this series, Evike for letting us do this here at the High Ground Airsoft Arena, well, in their little test range with a whole bunch of tracer BBs, and all other stuff that you see here. These meltdown videos are not cheap, so I really appreciate Evike and all the USAirsoft channel members that make these meltdown videos and everything else on USAirsoft possible in the first place. But let's go ahead and load up the magazines, put a battery in this, and get to the meltdown. I expect the piston or the ECU to burn out, but you never know when it comes to these meltdown videos. All right, we're all set with the SSR9. I take the battery to the side just in case if we have any problem, we can just quickly disconnect that. But let's go ahead and start off. We're just using 0.2 gram BBs. We got an Ace Tech tracer unit. Yeah, I'm just gonna let it rip and then see how many magazines we can get through. I think at some point the motor height might back off like with the Lancer Tactical Gen 3 that we had. And if it does that, then we'll go ahead and readjust it, Loctite it, and just continue the test. But let's go ahead and start with some binary fire. Magazine's done. Red one more binary fire magazine. so far. I am going to switch to full auto now because that is taxing on your finger. Next. Go back to binary. Now, in the last AEG meltdown, people were saying do more semi or binary because it's more labor inducing on the electronics. So that's exactly what we're trying to do here with the binary. Finger is already going numb. We're going to go back to full auto. It is snappy, I will give it that. That magazine wasn't full all the way. Now, if we had drum magazines, that would have been really good to have, but sadly I couldn't find any in time. It will take the Classic Army X9 magazines though, but not the ARP9 magazines. Back to binary. It is getting hot. Doing all right so far. It does smell though, I noticed that. It smells like burning plastic. It really smells like burning plastic, but it doesn't feel that hot in my hand. All right, it just stopped. It smells toxic already. This thing is pressed against my face. That's weird. Nothing. I'm just going to keep pulling the trigger and see. Switch to full auto real quick. Nothing. All right, let's go ahead and swap batteries real fast. It smells really bad with this thing pressed up against my face. Let's go ahead and swap batteries real quick. Blake, can you keep filming? Yeah. Go ahead and swap back over here. We just had the battery taped to the side here. That. Maybe we should have brought a fire extinguisher just in case, you know?
There's one in plain sight.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Pull the speed loader down. So the speed loader died before the gun really died, huh? All right, so it's just a battery issue. Oh, I almost don't want to do this anymore. It smells so bad.
That last mag you used was loaded too.
Huh. binary is acting a little strange. It's not as snappy as it once was. I don't want to hold this thing up to my face anymore. It smells really bad. I might be shooting a little too fast. Alright, that mag's empty. Blue mag. That magazine's empty, I guess. Huh. It's not feeding anymore? It's smoking already?
It's smoking.
All right. If you guys can load up,
It's smoking.
if you guys can load up magazines, I'm gonna keep firing because it's already smoking.
Battery's dead.
Battery's dead. Do we got more batteries?
That's all we got.
Probably.
Dean's 11-1 if you can find one.
I have a Titan. It won't fit in the stock.
That's fine.
Yeah, it doesn't
taking
have to
the
fit.
outside. If it's smoking, heads up, we're down to like.
Oh man, it was just starting to smoke too. Battery died at a really bad time. It's starting to smoke. This thing smells so bad. Oh, you can see it. Blake, can you see that?
Yep.
Check that out. I wonder if the motor will end up melting to the pistol grip on the inside like the Lancer Gen 3. I keep referring to that one over and over again, but that was the other AEG that we did this to. It's getting to that point. We're about to get another battery over here and see if we can keep this up. Hopefully it doesn't cool down. It's acting strange in binary. It's kind of chugga sometimes. You guys might be seeing that I'm doing this a lot because it is hurting my wrist and my finger just doing that. We'll switch back to full auto here in a bit. I just want to keep on doing binary and semi because I know that's more labor inducing on the gearbox and the electronics and all that because we're already doing this.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, bring the fire extinguisher. Just bring the fire extinguisher, yeah. Okay, about 1 minute worth of cooldown. Okay, that battery did not last. I'm not sure if that's a battery issue or if the gun just does not want to do anything. Nothing. And this battery is fully charged.
Well, there she is.
No, nothing. No full auto, no binary, nothing. It's dead. All right, so after grabbing another battery that is absolutely for sure fully charged, the SSR9 is dead. Something I noticed, now that I know that there's no current going through it, something that we all noticed whenever we were loading up magazines is that the magazines that I thought were not loaded were loaded, fully loaded. At some point, this stopped receiving BBs. I'm not sure if we messed up the hop up in some way or not, or what happened there, but this thing was feeding perfectly fine when we were testing it out at Mission Airsoft whenever we were doing the range and accuracy tests and the chronograph. No problem. Had no issues with the Novritsch magazines or the X9 magazines. I've got no problems with either of those magazines. It just doesn't like to accept ARP9 magazines from G&G. So that's not an issue. Wasn't an issue by that. Something just happened at some point that it just stopped accepting BBs from our magazines, just like 10% of the mags. So let's go ahead and take this apart, see what burned out, what broke, and then we'll get back to it. So, what happened to the Novritsch SSR9? Well, it all came down to the motor. Yes, there was wear on the piston head, and we even melted the ECU just a little bit. But the motor got so hot that it came out of the SSR9 looking like this.
So you can see here, the end cap melted and the brushes are no longer contacting the shaft, so you're not getting power through the motor.
And have you ever seen this before?
I've never seen anything like this.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see why this ultimately put an end to our meltdown within a matter of about 12 minutes. Now remember one thing when we put on these episodes, that the BBs that we put through these replicas is way more than anyone is ever going to use in a single firefight or even throughout a whole skirmish day at their local fields. A lot of times. And in this meltdown, we were beating on the motor with binary fire to purposely add extra strain to the electronics, the trigger, and the motor. But besides a little bit of melting to the inside of the motor grip and some damage to the heat shrink around the motor contacts, this just needs a new motor and it should be good to go back to the field. But I can't explain all the weird misfeeds though. It is what time? It is 11:27 p.m. and the ice cream man is going through my neighborhood. He is selling drugs. There is no other explanation. That beat kind of go hard though. All of my magazines before the meltdown were working fine until about midway through, but the hop-up assembly, including the bucking, nub, and even the barrel, looked fine afterwards. Maybe a little dirty after shooting all those BBs, but nothing out of the ordinary. However, that would be the end of this meltdown episode. And I still don't like the SSR9. This $300 PCC just doesn't do it for me. And I know there's a little bit of bias when it comes to how I've presented myself throughout this meltdown, but I hope I've been fair where it counts. It's just the whole PCC craze. We've seen the GNGs, the Classic Armies, the Zion Arms, ICS did this, so many other people have done this, like I said. But next, I would like to wreck an LCT Electronic Blowback AK, as I've heard those things destroy themselves in pretty weird ways. So if that sounds good to you, then hit the like button or subscribe now if you haven't already. But I would like to thank the Novritsch crew for letting me do any video I wanted with my SSR9. And I would like to thank the crew at Evike's Outpost at High Ground Airsoft for helping me put on this meltdown video. If you happen to have any questions about the gear we used, something we did, or anything else, then feel free to ask your questions in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you. But until that next video drops from the city of San Antonio, Texas, this has been Scott Hollenbeck, and I will be sure to see you all next time.